Hello everyone, it's Jacqueline Purcell here. I was fortunate enough to be an eyewitness of the lovely and moving ceremony of our beloved Queen's lying in state on Saturday, 17th of September 2022 in London. Let me share what I experienced. You all know that we lost our beloved Queen and how deeply saddened the entire nation and many parts of the world are at the loss of someone who just exemplified servant leadership in a way that very few leaders will ever be able to emulate. Like somebody said, you can't fake 70 years of devoted leadership. As nature lovers, we were incredibly heartened to see the double rainbow over Buckingham Palace and the rainbow over Windsor Castle, which was the Queen's prime residence. Somehow those rainbows made us feel that her passing from the physical to the spiritual was actually being showcased by nature in a very spectacular and lovely way. I was fortunate enough to go to Westminster to see the Queen lying in state. This was probably the most significant event of my life. There was no crying out aloud. There was just sniffing, echoing in this huge hall. Just the sound of people sniffing. A very dignified man with a full native American Indian headdress stood before the Queen's casket, and he gave this amazing salute. I could not believe my eyes, and some Middle Eastern people knelt and kissed the floor. It was such a multicultural event. I can't adequately describe how amazing it was to see the range of people who were there to say goodbye and thank you to the Queen. Queues were more than 16 hours waiting time, more than 250,000 in the queues. More than 26.2 million people watched across all media channels. 5.1 billion watched worldwide, making this the largest event in the history of humanity. 500 heads of state and foreign dignitaries were present. But looking back, we realized that we as a nation were prepared for the Queen's death. We saw a range of pictures coming out of the palace. The Queen's two ponies, Nightingale and Katie, was deeply symbolic for me, but also the Queen's last meeting where she was shaking the hand of our new Prime Minister, who's also called Elizabeth. And if you look at the back of the Queen's hands, you'll see there the bruises. Obviously, she was undergoing some medical interventions. Still that beautiful smile, but she could have worn gloves. But they always say that one of the roles of royalty is to show people that we will all die. And this is the way that the Queen allowed us to see her frail and to see her not looking well, so that we were not kept from the reality of life. And now we're saying, God save the King, King Charles. And I was lucky enough when we left the lying in state at Westminster to see King Charles drive by in his car and wave at everyone. And a great cheer went up saying, God save the King. God save the King. So that was a lovely tribute to Charles from the people that he will now be leading. You all know how much our beloved Queen Elizabeth II loved the Commonwealth and its people. Here are some Commonwealth images that show the wonderful diversity and cultural richness of the Commonwealth and all it stands for. But let's look also at the fact that we as a company have been changed, and we've looked at the Queen's life and her case studies and said that we're going to put together a leadership program based on the Queen. And we have now launched that 5 to 10 day case study in perfect leadership using the Queen as our case study. We hope to be able to share that with many people. So from all of us at Jasper, we hope that you've enjoyed our little chat, and a little thank you to the Queen for teaching me how to wear hats.